Last year, after driving every fun car that I could afford, I decided that the MX-5 Miata was the one that I wanted the most. And 7 months after making that choice, my car is still not here. While we will talk about the nuances and my experience today, first I want to share what I was told by Mazda, not a dealership. Currently, 2025 MX-5s are stuck at the port. They're expecting to resume deliveries by the summer, and the issue is still unresolved. Briefly, if you enjoy fun, detailed car content, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the kind people over at South Mazda in Bloomington, Indiana for letting me drive this used MX-5 for our conversation today. If you're in the market, check them out. I chose to order a car instead of finding one because I was looking for a particular spec, and this is a relatively low quantity car, so if you're picky, you're either going to need some patience or you're going to need to do what I did and tell Mazda themselves what you want. This was September of 2024, and I thought at that point I should probably just wait for the 2025. After all, they might release a cool 35th anniversary edition, and they did, but I wasn't super sold on the tan interior and tan top, so I opted against it. So how ordering a car works these days is maybe a little bit different from what you're expecting. So Mazda in this case was going to build a red Grand Touring with the manual transmission, whether I was going to buy it or not. This allocation was something that my dealership had to request. Once they got it, then they put my name on the car that was going to be built at that specific date, and that's about it. Typically this process is going to take somewhere around 2 to 4 months. My car ended up getting to the States before March, so it's been sitting in Tacoma, Washington at the ports for over 2 months now. Why? Well, Mazda tells me it has something to do with the VCM. That's going to be the computer that's running the engine or even the traction control system. I did read another news article with someone who spoke with Mazda on this matter, and for them, they were actually dealing with a example of a Miata that was stuck at the Los Angeles port. So this isn't really down to a specific set of cars. It's seeming like it's all of them. I issued a follow-up question to Mazda. I have yet to hear back, so if this turns out to not be the case, I will pin a comment below. To cross my T's, I called a couple of dealers who had Miatas showing up in their online inventory as recent arrivals, and it turns out their cars were also still trapped at port. This is probably going to have a big effect on how many MX-5s they sell this year, because to my knowledge, any car that was built in what seems like the second half of January and on is just sitting. And I mean, it's about to be May. This is peak Miata season now. With these VCM updates, it could be something very simple. It could already be resolved. But after speaking with a Mazda master mechanic, when it comes to the VCM, it could require an EPA stamp of approval. So that might be dragging the process along a little bit. He did reassure me though that these things can be resolved in a quick manner. So when they say that they expect deliveries to resume by summer, they could actually mean that. That could be something that really does happen. And there have been times where this is a conservative guess, but as great of a company as I think Mazda is, hitting deadlines seems to be especially difficult these days. Trusting any brand's timeline when it comes to a fix that has yet to be implemented is kind of like expecting someone who says that they're going to show up at 5 p.m. or so to actually show up at 5 p.m. It's 5:33 and Mazda is still fixing their hair. Moving forward, what I'd like to see from Mazda is a little bit more transparency. I'm really grateful that Mazda was at least willing to communicate with the press on this, but they should really be informing their dealerships about these issues so that they can tell their customers, yeah, that's going to be a hard conversation and a lot of people are going to be upset, but in the end, these things kind of happen, and I think everyone should really know why their car might end up being 2, 3, even 4 months late. I'm getting worried that I'm gonna have to cancel my order. Why? Well, I'm most likely moving 10 hours away here in early July, so I'm not gonna drive the GR Corolla all the way there and then all the way back just to do the trade-in. Now, other 2025s, likely the first cars that they built, have actually made it to dealerships. Some of those cars are still sitting on lots, so I might be able to nab one of those up. Before I do that, I'm gonna give Mazda the benefit of the doubt and wait just one more month. That's it. If I keep the GR Corolla any longer, it's gonna need some more maintenance. After a few more thousand miles, the tires will probably be loud. It just doesn't make any sense to put more money into a car that should have been gone a month or two ago. And if I'm going to have to do that, then maybe I just put these plans on pause. After all, I suppose I could drive the Corolla, which I do quite enjoy, as a daily driver, and then I could just pick up a used Miata for a lot cheaper. Though I guess that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, because the GR Corolla has much more expensive tires, it's got premium fuel to worry about, the insurance is not cheap. I don't think my budget can really accommodate a new car, newish car like the GR Corolla and a clean used MX-5. What I'm thinking I'll end up doing is drop the top and cry about it. I'm gonna have to just search for a different Miata, cancel my order, and when I find one that's most likely out of state, that dealership is gonna know they have some leverage, and yeah, they're not gonna give me the same amount for my trade-in, nowhere near the same amount for my trade-in that my local dealership would have. So after this debacle and driving the Civic Si here recently, it is making me think about just making an impulsive decision and buying a Civic Type R, because that was the other car that I was really considering after the series. There's also the GR86, which is even better on the track and more easy to daily drive. So that one has kind of been floating in my mind once again, but I really hope that Mazda is able to figure this thing out before I make a dumb, impulsive decision. However, I am curious, do you guys have any suggestions for potentially self-destructive choices? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Thank you to my channel members for helping me improve my video quality over the last couple of years, and I will catch you guys in the next one.